I'm often amazed at how many people ask us about living rurally and being so isolated. I think people that live in cities have got this idea that living out in the countryside means that you're a long way from everywhere else, and certainly sometimes it feels like it, but we really appreciate that, we really like it, but we're not that far from many things, and so I thought I'd make another video to share with you just what is in and about our local neighbourhood where we live, within just a few kilometres of our home. I have already made one video that's got some of these things in it, and that was during the dry season, and there were a few things that I did leave out of that video that I'd like to share with you. So here's another look around our neighbourhood. I'll start by popping down to the Chitty, which is actually in view of our home here at Silwensok Homestay. This is a small chedi, and there appears to be only one or two monks ever living down here and a couple of other people, and they're in the process of constructing a wihan, which is a ordination hall. It's not actually a temple, so there's actually no temple here. There are one or two monks here, and I just thought I'd pop in and say hi because I haven't been down there for a while, and have a bit of a look at the construction progress and have a little bit of a chat with our neighbours. We don't see a lot of them, but it's always nice to pop down and say hi. Sometimes I see the lady around foraging for herbs and vegetables, and sometimes ants' nests, because the local people like to eat the eggs from the ants that make nests in the trees, and I'm quite happy for them to come and get the ants out of the trees because they're a bit of a pest, especially when I'm pruning and you get fire ants raining down on you. It's not comfortable at all, so it's great that she can come and take them away sometimes. It looks like they've got quite a lot of material here, more bricks, and these look like tiles for the roof. It's quite a small building. I haven't been down here for a while, so just looking at the building progress. It's been under construction for quite a while. It possibly had some financial issues, that they'd run out of money maybe, but this little building's looking quite nice now. It's quite small. And then I'll be on the way again. This time of the year it's just absolutely gorgeous being out and about on the motorcycle. The weather's fairly humid, but on the bike when I'm riding it creates a nice cool breeze, and it's just so pleasurable to ride through the lush green countryside. All the orchards are looking fabulous, and of course the rice fields. You'll see some of those in a minute. Now I'm just heading up from our place a couple of 100 metres to Moban Darp Moon. This is the local village that we're associated with. It's the closest village to us. It's pretty small. There's about 60 houses here, I think, and I think most of the people have been living here for quite a long time. Some of the people living in these homes own the land that surrounds us. That's where they farm their rice and their lamia, their mangoes, things like that. It's usually pretty quiet during the day. And it's just, a lovely little village that's close to us. There's a couple of small stores there, nothing much. I don't often come up to the village unless it's to see someone or to take part in something that's happening in the community, which is usually based at this temple, which is the Darp Moon Temple. It's pretty quiet at the temple here at Darp Moon this morning, which I guess is pretty normal for a weekday morning. But earlier in the morning, I'm sure there was people about as the monks were out and about receiving their alms. And certainly at times when I've been up here, when there's a festival or some sort of celebration on, this place is packed and humming. It's a real centre of activity in the village, as it is in most Thai villages. The temple is generally the centre of the community, and it is quite beautiful. It's usually the most beautiful building in the village, and this one's fairly small, but certainly really ornate and really beautiful. Don't know if you can see it, the bees enjoy it. There's a couple of beehives up there in the rafters under the eaves, and quite a normal thing to have temple grounds with all kinds of little accessory buildings and little shrines around. where people come at times to say prayers and light candles and light incense. One thing about Buddhism that I really love is that it's so visual and tied in with the arts and lots of visual celebration. You can see the detail on these window shutters, and every temple has got its own style of art, and this is fairly normal. I think you'll find the same in Catholic churches all over Europe, that the artwork in and around the churches, as it is in the temples, is used to tell stories and convey deeper meaning of the faith and what it is to be Buddhist. The only signs of breathing life around here this morning are a couple of little cats that are quite friendly. They were saying hello to me as I arrived. So there's a quick look at the local temple. Quite beautiful, very peaceful, lovely place to be. And here's a community area just in front of the temple. There's a couple of buildings there and a big open space, sometimes used for partying, sometimes used for car parks. So there we go, there is the local temple at Dark Moon, which is one of many in the area. And here's the temple cat. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, hello, Pooh. You want some attention too, do you? From here at the temple at Dark Moon, I'm going to pop over to Mulban Banpa, which is just a short distance away. This road is quite lovely to ride, and I'm certainly wanting to explore it further up past the Banpa village, but today I'll stop and turn off to the left. But this road wraps around between, on the left is private land, and on the right hand side of the road is the Doi Inthanon National Park, which is quite huge. It's a massive park, and Doi Inthanon is the highest mountain in Thailand. It's the highest peak. It's around about 2,600 metres above sea level, and which is, from this point, it's about 2,300 metres higher than where we are. We're about 300 metres above sea level here. So just coming down, there's quite a steep road, narrow road coming down through this village. It's quite a bit of a bigger village. There's a lot more houses here. And again, quite established, quite an old village. Lots of older people living here. And yeah, more stores and more activity. And there is also this little feature in the village, which is quite interesting. Over here at Banpa, we've got something that's a little bit unusual, and you don't see too many around, and that is the local Catholic Church, which has been here for quite a while, and there's a small congregation here. I've joined in celebrations a few times. It's lovely to come here at Christmas time and Easter time. Dotted around the countryside, especially in the mountain areas, there are quite a few little churches, both Protestant and Catholic, so this is the closest one to us, and it's quite lovely. I've been here a few times. A little bell tower, and just up through here there's a little grotto that somebody's carefully made. It's all built of local stone by the looks of things. And yeah, nothing there. I think there's, at Christmas time, there's usually a nativity in there and some statues. Got Mary looking to the heavens up there. But yeah, this is another thing that I was kind of surprised to find out here in rural Thailand. So, if you're coming to stay at Suansock Homestay and you're inclined to participate in Catholic Mass on a Sunday morning, this is the place that you can come. And really, I think directly in that direction. I'll put the drone up later and have a look, but our house is about 800 metres in that direction, not far away at all. But to get here I've got to ride around the road that I've just come down, because there's no direct route. You can walk through, but you can't ride all the way through. So back on the bike again, and we'll go and have a bit more of a look around at our local district here. And then on from here through beautiful rice fields that are still actually being planted. It's quite late this year. Quite often the rice is well planted and well established by now, but a lot of it is just being recently planted. And it's all got to do with the amount of rain that we get, the amount of available water. Something I've loved about having a motorcycle is getting out and about into some of these little back roads and tracks that I don't normally explore. I certainly wouldn't come places like this in the car. This one just connects up with the main road that runs through the valley here, and this is where I do come for a bicycle ride most mornings. It's absolutely beautiful down here, and it's nice. It's got a sealed road, and so coming through here, especially at this time of the year, I really enjoy it. First thing in the morning, it's the best. It's so peaceful, so quiet. There's a lot of bird life around. There's egrets and cranes, and quite often I'll see cattle and buffalo in this area as well, more so when the rice isn't growing, but certainly there is cattle around still. But this area is slowly being developed. There's plots that are being sold off that are no longer being farmed for rice, that they just seem to be possibly have been bought by people that live outside the area, and they've bought it for an investment property and they're not interested in farming it, which is a little bit sad to see, that some of this land just doesn't get well used, but most of it is still pretty intensively farmed with rice planting at this time of the year, when there is sufficient water, and this year there is more than enough. So it's good fun, and I'm really enjoying flying my drone down here at the moment. My drone's been out of action for quite a while. Had some technical issues, but managed to get these sorted out recently, and so I've just been practicing with it and learning a bit more about what it can do, what I can do with it, and it's very enjoyable, particularly when the rice fields are flooded and when the rice is growing. When there's just water, it gets some fabulous reflections. And when the rice is planted and growing, it just looks absolutely stunning. It's so beautiful. Yeah, the good thing about flying the drone down here is that there's not many obstacles. There's not many power lines, or certainly no tall buildings. There's not very many tall trees or anything like that. So it is really quite a fun thing to do, to fly around and have a look and see what's around from the perspective of a drone. And having a motorcycle to just pop it in the bag and the basket in the front makes it really easy just to stop and start the drone when I see something that I think will make good footage, and to give you a different perspective of what it's like for me to be riding around these lovely fields on my motorcycle. Here's one of the buffalo I was talking about. I thought I'd go over and say hello to them. They look pretty big and scary, these guys, but they're usually very, very placid. I got fairly close to him and he was just getting a little bit too wary of me, so I just thought, okay, time to back off. He's pretty big. He's tethered. They do put the rope through their nose, so if he pulls too hard, it's going to be painful, which seems very cruel, but that's the way they do it here. And so now I'm sort of heading back around towards the village of Monglang, which is the biggest village in our area. Some nice places being built here. Someone's put in a nice home there with a big yard and a big fence around it. It's been there just a few years. And again through more rice fields. To the right hand side there's another residence with a little homestay there as well. Look at the colour of that rice, it's just spectacular. You can see the reflection off the water where the rice hasn't grown very much at all yet. It looks so beautiful. So just sort of winding my way through, and I thought I'd take a little bit of a detour down some of these narrow roads. There's a nice little place just on the left hand side there that I'll pop back to shortly and talk about that. But coming down this track is something I've not done. You can't really take a car down here, it's not really wide enough, so I've never really explored it. I've been down here on my bicycle a couple of times when we first moved here, but it's much more fun on a motorcycle just to be able to putt around slowly along these tracks and find all sorts of people out either pulling up the rice seedlings to transplant or actually doing the transplanting of the rice at this time of the year. When I was doing this ride around, there's quite a few people out still working on the rice. As I said before, it's often all been planted by now. But these fields here, where the bright green rice is, this is the rice seedlings, and you can see areas where it's been pulled up and then it gets transplanted into the flooded fields. And so just meandering around through these little back tracks, these motorcycle tracks, is a lot of fun. Got to be pretty careful, especially at this time of the year. Dirt tracks and they're muddy as anything because of the amount of rain that we've been getting, but just sort of plodding along slowly is a lot of fun. And I'm just sort of heading now to the river crossing. There's a weir across the river just ahead of us, and it'll take me across to the other side where I was looking to see if I could find some corn growing. There's a lot of water in the Monglang stream at the moment. It's that time of the year, and the water system around here is all very carefully planned and managed, so the farmers growing rice or growing fruit can access as much water as they need. And so you can see on the left hand side there's a fairly big canal here that's full at this time of the year because they're just pushing the water out into the rice fields to keep them flooded. And this helps not only for the rice to grow, but it also keeps the weeds suppressed. And I really love this ride through here. I haven't been down here for quite a while, and I've only had my motorcycle less than a year, so I haven't seen the rice growing in this area. I caught the tail end of it last year, but seeing it this year like this when it's fairly freshly planted, this whole area is looking quite spectacular. And it's just, yeah, very quiet, very peaceful, really enjoyable just to go out for a bit of a ride, especially if I've been sitting editing or working in my office for most of the day. It can get a bit tedious sometimes, so it's really fun to jump on the motorcycle and head out and be well away from any traffic or any noise or any pollution or anything like that. And it's just really good for my soul to be out here and enjoying nature and enjoying the peace and quiet and the beautiful tranquil setting and fabulous views. This is why we love it out here. It's just so lovely. I'm just plodding along slowly. Some of these clips I've sped up so that it doesn't take too long, but you can still get a good look at what I'm experiencing. But I'm certainly not riding very fast at all. I'm probably just plodding along at 20 or 30 kilometres an hour along these roads at the maximum. And the other thing I've realised too when riding is that you catch all the beautiful aromas the rice isn't grown very much yet. Further in the season, the rice will be producing a lovely soft aroma. And now coming back into town a little bit, into one of the stores in town. This is actually one that's quite new. It's just opposite the main temple in Monglang, and I've quite often popped down here. It's very close to our home. Didn't see the owners there today, but just had a look. Thought I'd stop for a drink. I was feeling pretty thirsty, and then had a bit of a chat to one of the locals who was hanging out. There was a couple of people hanging out there.
Oh,
Very crap. Oh, and this one guy was quite keen to have a bit of a chat, especially when he realised I could speak a little bit of Thai, pointing out the different types of drinks and what to get. I've chosen a coconut drink. It's a locally produced, not too sweet and very refreshing. He was showing me another one that he said was really delicious, but I thought I'll stick with this one. I haven't tried it before. Okay. And it's quite a well-stocked store. There's lots of bits and pieces in here, so we often come down, and it's very easy to get most of what we need. If we've run out of something, it's easy to pop down to the store and pick something up, or pick some eggs up, or a couple of beers on a weekend, things like that. The lady was busy. I think she's the mum of the owners, and so my friend just came to help get her attention. Everything's very relaxed, and I wasn't in a hurry, just sort of having a look and taking some video. Certainly I've become really comfortable with the local people. Everybody's very friendly and very open to having a chat, just shoot the breeze a little bit. Nobody's in a rush, nothing's in too much of a hurry. And this is one other aspect of rural life in northern Thailand that we really, really enjoy. It's good fun. Stop for a bit of a chat, always a big smile, always encouraging. He was asking me where I was from and telling me he's got a younger brother or sister that lives in Germany. Just anything from a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a conversation to change the day up somewhat. All good stuff.
ใช่ฮะใช่อยู่เมืองไทย20 ปีกว่าแล้วตอนอยู่เชียงใหม่
So this store, like I said, hasn't been open for very long, and looks like they've got quite a bit of stuff there.
ชอบกว่ามันก็ใช้ไม่เยอะเนาะไม่เยอะที่นี่ดีกว่า
I guess they're just trying out different things. There's some clothing there. They've got mainly food, mainly bits and pieces for household items. But it's just a good general store, and there's a few of these around. There's a few of these just within a couple of kilometres from our home.
ที่ไหนที่นี่น้องอยู่ประเทศเยอรมัน okay.
But the main town that's close to us is probably a 15-minute drive away. So if we can, we come down to the local village and support their businesses, spend our money locally, which is good. And it also saves us time and money from going and having to go into Chomtong town too often. So I'll set off from here. We've got the main Monglang temple on the left there. And then just coming up past there, again through the rice fields, which are just stunning, just newly planted. They've just planted these ones in the last couple of days. And then, yeah, the view up to the mountains from here is just lovely. We always love coming home. This is very close and on the way to our home. And so this is the view that we get as we're heading to our place. I'm not going to go all the way back there. We're just going to head up here a little bit and take a look at a couple of places just up here. And here is the local crematorium. It's very, very basic setup here in the village. I've been to a couple of cremations here. And they just pile this area up with local wood and place the coffin on top. And there was string run from the building where they lit the fuse, fireworks going off, and then it ignited the wood. There's another area here. So very, very simple. I was at a funeral just recently in the city at a much bigger temple, and they had a more sophisticated setup here, but down in the village this is very traditional way of farewelling somebody who's passed away. And yeah, when there's a funeral here, this place is packed. All the locals come out, all the village comes out from all around. And there's a nice community atmosphere. And of course with the typical sadness when somebody's passed away. So just another little aspect of our neighbourhood here. It's just down the road from us, but not close enough that we ever get any scent of what's happening, which I'm quite happy about. This is another local farm. I'm not sure what is growing in here. It looks like it might be chili. Bananas. I've just recently planted a lot of bananas around here. I've got the mounds with covered with the plastic to keep the weeds down, regulate the water. But there's somebody here just in the last couple of years, or even last year or so, has developed this area. Put a bit of a fence around it. Looks like there's bags of buffalo manure, cow manure there for fertilisation. Good to see that rather than too much chemical, which is typical around here. But it's a little bit unusual to see that most of the farms, most of the people in this area, they're farming rice or they're farming lamyai. They've got lamyai orchards. Lamyai is longan fruit, but most of it around here is just like that, rice and longan. And at this time of the year, it's just particularly beautiful. As you've seen, as I've been riding around, just come down to have a look down here, be a bit of a nose, have a bit of a nosy. And you can see that now most of the area down here is already planted. And you can see just here, this canal runs through from the other side. And this is all water that is carefully controlled and monitored and managed so that everyone gets enough. Sound like a fish or a frog or something down there. It's yeah, quite an intricate system of canals that I'll be making a video about soon. So heading out again through the fields. There's another place just on the right hand side there that I think has rooms for rent, and then again back into the rice fields. A little bit of a valley here, just spectacularly beautiful. But where we are located here, we're just at the base of the mountain, so it's getting a bit of elevation. There's a bit of a hill on the way up that means that we're at a little bit higher altitude and away from any risk of flooding. There's a lot of flooding up in the north of Thailand at the moment, and sometimes closer down to the river where we are it has been very wet and it's flooded down there a few times since we've been here, but where our place is, we're safe from that. And now this is actually a little bit outside the other end of Monglang town. This is the entrance that when you come off the main road that goes up to Doi Inthanon, this is the entrance into our little district here. It's quite a beautiful drive, this long straight road here that's tree lined either side. And it's another aspect of coming here, that when we drive through here and we're coming through here, we're nearly home, and it's always such a lovely, peaceful, relaxing feeling to come in down to this little place. And I'm coming up to a little shop, another store that's down here that we quite often stop at, and the lady often has some good fruit here that some of the places don't have. They generally don't keep perishables, so I thought I'd stop in and see if I could pick some fruit up. But she didn't have much fruit. She had a few pre-packaged items that were not local fruit, so I wasn't sort of keen on buying them. They didn't look very interesting at all, so I thought I'd pick up some crispy pork instead, and she was telling me that this was made by someone locally, and indeed it was very fresh, very crispy. It was nice. This is a great snack to eat with a cold beer on a hot afternoon. Mất rồi. Me nè. Oh, okay. I'll probably know you. So just stash that in the bike and pop the camera back on and head away again. And now continuing on towards Monglang, and then further beyond that is our village. So this is the way into our place. With, again, more stunning rice fields. This area down here is big, open, flat area. It's right adjacent to the river, so it's ideal for rice farming. There's some lamia orchards there, but then it opens out into this huge, huge area of rice paddies. Stunningly beautiful, catching the reflection of the clouds in the water. But within a week or two, the rice will have grown so that you can't really see the water much anymore. But when it's young like this, when it hasn't grown much, it's fairly sparse. You get these beautiful reflections. And then heading into the beginning of Monglang village, the river's just on the right hand side there, and it's quite full, so I thought I'd stop and take a little bit of a look at it. There is a weir here, there's a bit of a dam, so I just thought I'd pull up and go and have a bit of a look and make some video. Huge amount of water, huge volume of water. This comes down from the Doi Inthanon mountain, so there's many little tributary streams flowing into this, quite a big body of water, but not overly full at the moment. It's I think possibly in the next few days, because we've had some rain over the last few days, I think that's going to start to really start to swell, and I have seen it at times where there's a lot more water than this and it comes right up underneath the bridge. And so now coming back through Mornglung village, this is in the evening now. There's usually a bit more activity, a few more people out and about during the evening time, but it was pretty quiet this evening. As I was coming through, you just take it slowly through here, because you just never know who's about, the dogs and the people and trucks and motorcycles coming out of side streets and whatnot, so it just pays to take it real slow, real easy. And it's just, another very lovely local community, very friendly, and there's always something happening, there's always people about. During the day, come maybe 7 o'clock, come when it gets dark, pretty much everything shuts down. Some new houses being built in here too, people out and about picking up bits and pieces to take home for dinner. Coming back along here towards the Mornglung temple, so this is where I come riding past before. Let's take a left here, past the shop that I stopped at. And again, this is part of the route that I take in the morning when I come for my bike ride. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then stop off at this little shop up here to pick up some barbecued pork. This lady does the best barbecued pork. We've bought a fish there once too that was barbecued, absolutely delicious. Not sure what she does to it, but it is just first rate every time. And she makes a really, really good barbecue sauce to go with it too. So stopping for a piece of pork, just pay 50 baht, which is maybe $1.50 US, something like that, for a beautifully cooked piece of pork. Just asked her if I can come and take some video. It's not a problem. So this is what's happening. Unfortunately, you can't smell it. It smells fantastic. It smells so good. I'm not sure what's in those packets that are wrapped in banana leaf. Possibly some sticky rice and fish, I'm not sure. I just thought I'd stop in here to show you this and spend a little bit of money. The last time I stopped down here, actually, it was a Buddha day. There was something big happening at the temple. I was quite surprised that they were still open, and I ordered a piece of pork like this. It was cooking a little bit differently though. I was smoking it in the barrel, and ordered the same way, and she cut it up and put it in a bag and gave it to me and said no charge, it's free because it's a celebration at the temple. So really sweet, really lovely. That's what I was saying about the people around here being so lovely, very kind, very warm and very relatable. And this is one of the other real key things that we love about living rurally in northern Thailand. I haven't stopped in here many times before, but I think I should do more often because the people are friendly and the food's fantastic, and it would be a really good place for me to come and chill and practice some Thai in the evening.
Nhung lên nào hạt.
Chín hai rồi. Nhớ thầm rồi. Thời bà đi. Tìm mình rồi, tìm rồi. Hát mình rồi. Thầy ơi, bà phút.ขอพี่ดีๆขอพี่บอกพวกป้ากับแฟนเลยแป้ตีปี
Then jump back on the little motor scooter again and head up the hill to come back home and enjoy some barbecued pork, some crispy pork and a cold beer. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see another video that I've made around our neighbourhood, check out this video here. It was done during the dry season. You'll get a look at what the landscape's like without so much water, and you'll get to see a few of the other lovely places around about here. Thanks for watching.